Some DJs are even. But here's a little something about my DJ.
To the Batmobile. Let's go.
Hey, welcome to this edition of Soultalk 88.9, a show uniquely designed to showcase Edinboro University of Pennsylvania alumni. I am your host, DJ Silky Shoes, along with my co-host, Karen Davis Hopkins. And we have a very special show lined up for you this evening. So check it out. We call this first segment, Listen Up. It's the talk of the town, Soul Talk Radio 88.9. Soul Fly 88. It's the talk of the town, Soul Talk Radio 88.9.
We are talking to Grace Jones, an alumni that graduated in 1982, majoring in social work. And welcome to the show, Grace. Glad to have you.
Well, thank you, Silko. And I have to tell you that my name is actually Lee Grace Jones.
Lee Grace. Okay. I've been getting mixed up with the singer.
But Gracie, at school, pretty much everybody called you Gracie, though, didn't they?
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say that.
Okay.
My aunt had the same name, and she was a big-time gospel singer.
Okay.
Grace and her Lee Grace.
Oh, okay. So you were named after your aunt?
Yes, I was.
Okay, and not the singer Grace Jones, right?
Those are two different, spectrums.
Oh yeah. Okay. So we're gonna get started here, and I want to know. Tell me briefly what you did immediately after graduating from Edinboro. What was your first,
Oh, my first job was as a resident worker at a group home for single pregnant girls. It was called Roselia Center.
Okay, now that's in Pittsburgh?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
And basically, I worked the non-traditional shift, which was a 4 to 12.
Oh, okay.
I was trained for labor and delivery, and when someone went into labor on my shift, what I would do would be to time contractions. And once they were 1 or 2, 5 minutes apart, then I would drive them to the hospital.
So, Gracie, is that still in the social work arena?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay. It sounded like it is. I mean, the question I had was, which you kind of sort of answered it, is what were your goals and aspirations that you set for yourself once you left for school? And I would assume that, you do something in your major, but you may have had some other goals and aspirations that you set for yourself. So what were some of those?
Well, actually, I always wanted to be a social worker.
Oh, okay, nice.
My goal was to graduate a semester early so that I could look for a job during the last semester and have a job when I went back for commencement. And I can gladly say that Roselia Center hired me I graduated in December of 82. I was hired at Roselia in March.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Took overloads at Edinboro just so I could graduate a semester early, and everything worked out. God is so good.
Yes.
It's fantastic that, you, like you said, graduated early, and then you even, got a job in your field.
And so you've pretty much been in your field since you graduated from Edinboro, huh?
I've been at my job that I am at now 28 years.
Wow.
Wonderful. Fantastic.
Man. Wow.
I've only had 3 primary jobs. Roselia was my first job. I was there for about a year and a half. And then I took the civil service test, which I would encourage everyone to do.
Yeah, I did that too, yep.
That has an undergraduate degree. I took the civil service test, and I was hired as a children and youth service worker, a protective service worker for 9 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, during that job, I presented cases in court for children who were delinquent and dependent, or mostly dependent because the POs did the delinquent children. But there were times when those children crossed over and were both.
Oh, okay.
So, yes, and during that time I also transported children to medical appointments, back and forth from their visits for their natural parents and their foster parents, and also whenever the children were removed from whatever home situation that was inappropriate, I would have to take them to shelter, to McIntyre Shelter at the time, and have the nurse examine them and then schedule a court hearing to present their case in juvenile court.
Wow. So it sounds like you touched a lot of lives over the years.
You know what? I have been very fortunate, Karen and Silko. I have been able to not just work in jobs that were in crisis, states, but also during that time I was able to mentor a little bit younger people. Some of the girls at Rosalia who were unwed mothers, encourage them to get the education that they had there at Oakland Catholic School.
Well, so that kind of sounds like that, and it's so I'm jumping around a little bit just because, from what Gracie is saying, is so how did your Edinboro experiences help you in your life after college? I mean, I know your degree, of course, helps in what you're doing now, but how did your Edinboro experience help you in your life after college?
Well, I think basically at Edinboro, I was able to interact with a lot of different people from a lot of different communities.
Gotcha.
That part played a major role.
Absolutely.
And also, at the time when I went to Edinboro, culturally, there were not a lot of African-American students.
Right.
As now. I was in class, I was like the only African-American in my class. There might have been one or two other people in every other class. So I was able to learn and adapt to the environment, which really has helped me over the years because I've been able to be in meetings with... Absolutely, with professionals, and I can say I've been able to express myself and whatever presentation I was there in the meeting for in a way that they were first able to understand, and then also they were able to buy into whatever I was trying to get them to come on board and do.
Right.
And I have my own business now.
Oh yeah. So
yes, well, I do event planning on the side.
Okay.
I thought you did mention something like that.
Okay.
I mean, I had some communication classes at Edinboro that I have to say, when I was choosing a class, I was like, I'm a social work major. I'll just take a couple communication classes. But really, they really did help me to express not just verbally, but also in written form.
Okay, exactly. You use that every day, yeah.
Absolutely. And I tell you what, that helped me along the way. And I've only had 3, like I said, real steady jobs. At Rosalia, as a resident worker, as a CYS worker, and now at the Department of Public Welfare, which, like I said, I've been there for 28 years.
Okay, I gotcha.
My skills that I learned at Edinboro, the education and the interaction with people from all over the world.
Yep, exactly.
Has really helped me to not just counsel people as I interact with them at the Department of Public Welfare, but also to mentor a lot of the caseworkers to be supervisors, the supervisors to be managers. And as I leave, because I have 7 more years at my job before I retire, I'm mentoring the managers to become directors.
Wow. That's major league.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've been very fortunate. I've had a lot of good mentors, which actually started at Edinboro with the fur crumbs.
Okay, Okay, so then that, I want it to sound like, we're interviewing you for a job, but I mean, it's super wonderful just hearing about, what you're currently doing. So you did mention the fur crime. So I mean, for myself as well, I mean, that's one of my special memories. So what are some special memories that come to mind when you think about your Edinboro experiences?
Okay. You cut off a little bit, so if you
let me repeat. I'll repeat the question for her. I guess she was trying to say is, how did your no. She was trying to ask you, what special memories come to mind when you think about your Edinboro experience?
Well, my first memory is the Act 101 program.
Okay, I got you.
Right.
I work for them, yeah.
And I am on the cover of one of their brochures.
Oh, wow. Man, that's a legacy to have behind.
Act 101.
Yep.
I have to find it because the Act 101 program really helped us as students learn how college life was.
Yep.
We really didn't know as high school students.
Exactly. Making that transition.
And they taught you, I'll never forget, I had a class called strategy. I think that was one of the most important classes because it taught you how to manage your time.
Right.
It taught you how to take notes from a professor. And then it taught you how to study, so you were able to do well on tests.
Gotcha.
So that's one of my first memories. The other one is the young men and women that were actually on campus when I arrived. And they showed us as a group, like Bill Malachi, Steve.
Steve Galloway.
Steve Galloway, John Smith, Danny Horsley, Donnie. Those are the young men who they took us to places that we didn't even know existed. Beautiful cliffs that are up.
Wow.
Borough. And then the young ladies that were there. And my cousin Dana Taylor, Cindy Lovelace. Those were the ladies who really embraced us.
Oh, okay.
Showed us, the campus and how college life was. So that, when I was a freshman, that was the big part that I really valued.
Oh, okay.
Soon, as I went through, of course, the party life.
Yeah, get to the fun stuff. Okay, the straight up fun stuff at Edinboro, huh? The parties.
The parties. I mean, you have to be able to. That's one of the things you learn as a college.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
You can party, or when you got.
When you think about it, when you ask somebody about the Edinboro experience, I mean, they don't talk about the classes they took or a professor.
Yeah.
I mean, it's usually people, and like you said, the parties.
The parties. Yeah. Edinboro was known as a teacher's college when I went there, and then but I heard about the parties. Teachers partied. Who
said to me he was going to Florida A&M, and he said, "Oh, Gracie, I don't know anybody who went to Edinboro and graduated." Well, let me tell you, I will call you. You will be one of my first calls when I get my degree. Back to the parties, though, that is a part of life as a college student.
Exactly. It taught you to work hard and play hard. Reward yourself.
That's exactly right, especially having been in that Act 101 program.
Right.
So I was surrounded with people like Notre Rose, Betty Bush, Lillian Leaks. Those were the people in my group.
Right, exactly.
Whole group, and we were called the Sunbabes. And we gave a party with our brothers from Florida.
Yeah.
L7s. We had a party.
See, no, I never knew that. See, you're giving us something historical. Like, what did you say? You said the Sunbabes?
Sunbabes.
I hadn't known that either.
I didn't know that, and I didn't know about the Florida.
You asked somebody about the Sunbabes.
Yeah, we see.
And it's L7.
L7, okay.
Florida, and when we gave a party, we used to give out like little sandwiches.
Wow.
Cheese, and then we had little sandwiches that were made out of tuna fish.
Oh, y'all was classy. Y'all was classy with it. see? Learn something new every day. Uh-huh. Be like, I don't know whether to eat this or take a picture of it.
That's funny you should say that because I have sent Shamir some pictures. She has to update the photo thing because I've sent her some pictures and I found some more.
Oh, wow.
Send her.
Yeah.
You know, all of the Leo and Tim Beecham and Joe Early and all of they were football players, but they were our brothers from Florida.
Right, right.
Now, what year were the Florida guys there? The ones you're talking about?
Got there in, I want to say, we got there in 79 in the spring. So it had to be, we went to Act 101, like school was out in June. We were there at the end of June of 79. And that's when we met the Florida guy.
And we came up in 80. We came there in 80.
Yeah, so
Karen
we had already been.
I came in 79, but I'm just trying to think. When she says Florida boys, I mean, I think of, you know, of course, Matt, Edwin.
Oh, no,
and I didn't think she was talking about this. She's talking about a whole nother group.
She's talking about the first wave. She's talking about the first wave.
And I didn't even know there was a first wave.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a first wave either. See, we're learning something new here today.
That's right. Willie Curry, Leo.
See, those names aren't familiar to me.
Yeah. Those were the Florida, the real Florida. I call them
the real Florida boys.
Oh, you might have to edit this shit. I'm just kidding.
I'm just saying, they set the stage for the car.
She cleaned it up.
Okay. I got you. Okay, we're going to take a pause for the cause, a break right here, and share some information with you, and we're going to follow up with Lee Grace Jones right after these messages. Pause for the cause. See you in a minute.
Can you smell that charcoal aroma of grilled burgers in the air and the refreshing taste of ice-cold lemonade? Well, you can and you will at the Fighting Scots tailgate party. So join us Saturday, October 5th at the Sox Harrison Stadium underneath a 20 by 30-foot tent located inside the stadium with all your fellow alumni. This message is brought to you by the African American Reunion Alumni Committee. If you want to party with the old school and the new school, guess what? There's a black and white affair Saturday, October 5th from 8 to 2 p.m. So make sure you have your dancing shoes on at the Avalon Hotel and Conference Center in the Niagara Ballroom and Billy's Lounge, located at 16th West and 10th Street in Erie, Pennsylvania. Alumni will be representing from all across the country. It's going to be a funky good time. And did I mention it's grown and sexy attire? This message is sponsored by the African American EUP Reunion Committee. So Flight 88 on your radio. It's the talk of the town, Soul Talk Radio 88.9.
And we're back, and I guess we want to know, Grace, have you maintained any Edinboro friendships over the years, and why and with whom?
Oh, absolutely. One of my very good friends is Stephanie Lane.
Oh, okay.
And you know what, Grace? Well, I think we talked about this the last time we were on the phone. And was it my second year? And I'm going to let you finish. Stephanie Lane, she was my roommate for a semester.
Okay.
It was like, I think was that my second year she was my roommate? Yeah, for a semester.
She had a very strong personality.
Well, that's very true. That's Stephanie.
Absolutely.
That's my girl.
I love her because she didn't fall for the okie doke.
Right. Now, she was from McKeesport,
PA. That's right.
Right. Exactly. Representing McKeesport. Yep. Stephanie Lane.
And she's doing very well. She lives in Atlanta with her husband and her daughter.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Daughter Amber is my goddaughter.
Oh, wow. Oh, beyond the borders of
Have you
Edinboro.
been down to Atlanta to see Stephanie?
Yeah, well, Stephanie comes to all the reunions.
Good.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Atlanta
That would be nice to see her in October.
Yes, you will. I met her. That's funny because I just bought a convertible, and Stephanie said, I don't care if it's 5 degrees. We're going to ride up with you.
I heard that.
But, Stephanie is one of the people that I met, and we kind of clicked.
Uh-huh.
We were on the right path because I wanted to try to show her that in college life, you don't just have to be a student. You can be an RA.
Uh-huh.
True.
It could help you pay for your tuition, or it could be your spending money. And then you can be involved in a couple of the activities, but your focus is to get your degree.
Right. So you kind of mentored her, it sounds like.
I did.
Uh-huh.
Proud to say that because she is, like I said, she's doing very well down in Atlanta.
Wow, that's
who
awesome.
are some of the other folks that you stay in touch with?
Actually, because of the reunions that we've had,
Right.
been in touch with just about everyone who was at Edinboro at that time.
Nice, very nice.
Younger people.
Yeah.
Pam Person is one of the people that I'm still in contact with. Ralph Howard, he's my...
So he's your friend. He's my free Pootie.
Yeah, Pootie. Yeah, he plays Miyaka.
For now.
Yeah.
But he does... he does still go by Pootie because actually, if you really know him, that's what you call him.
Right,
Absolutely.
Exactly. Well, you know what? You have a unique perspective because, you have been a part of the alumni. You've been the coordinator for the alumni, African American alumni, for some years, and so you've maintained contact with folks all throughout the generational process. All throughout the generations. From your era, our era, and even the young folks now. How'd you get involved in that?
Well, actually, I have to say that a group of us had met initially. Debbie and Odell Miller, Ed Ransom, Alfonso, Ann Brown. We were all talking. Even Deidre Baker. Her and, we called her Tweet. She was on the committee with her husband, Ed. We all were discussing and coming up, and Ralph Howard, along with Sean Gibson, we all worked together actually to start up the reunion, and even Gary Stanton. And once, we decided that we were going to have it because we didn't have money.
Yeah.
We all put our money together, and Ted Johnson, who was really one of the pioneers in getting the reunion started.
Oh, okay.
He secured the Sherwood properties for us up in Forest Hills.
Yeah.
So we were able to do the Friday night meet and greet at CJ's, and then Saturday we had the big picnic at Sherwood Properties where we had the tennis courts, and that's where Aubrey Dillon came and played turn.
All right, and you had the swimming pool as well?
Yes, he's doing well. He was able, him and Lynn Johnson, they came and they played turn up at the, they were tennis players.
Right.
So they all got to play up at Sherwood Properties. And then after the picnic, some people came back to my house. Some people went, to the other places. But Sunday, we went to church at Tyrone Tillman's house, who's a minister. Actually,
okay.
My congregation.
Yeah, I just called him tonight.
He is. He went to his church that Sunday. So all of that was planned with those people that I just mentioned, and they're the ones who,
So are the folks that you just mentioned, are they going to be at the one in October?
Oh, absolutely. I find it hard to believe not be at the reunion in October.
No, good. That's just, I remember, because I know Turnip will be there, because Turnip was, that was my first roommate, freshman year. So it's going to be, with the people that you named, it's going to be like, I'm super excited to, see all these folks after so many years.
And Karen, this will be your first time actually.
Correct, it will.
She made attempts, but
I attempted in my car, but what was it? Was I on I was on like the Pennsylvania Turnpike, and like the engine light came on, so I had to U-turn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did attempt to. That was like 7 years ago or something. So.
Oh, that was longer than that, because it was like 7 of us strong that went up there that year.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, up to the one in Pittsburgh?
No, we went to Edinboro. We actually went to Edinboro this one year. That's before we knew about what you were doing with the alumni. That's before we knew that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right, because the one you have, like Arlene was in it, the pictures that you sent, Silko?
Yeah, yep.
Is that the one?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that was a while ago. You're right.
Yeah.
There were people that came from all over, and I was very thankful for that. Because,
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
yes, it really did show our camaraderie, which is one of the things that I told the Edinboro Alumni Association and why I was so adamant with them about showing us in the magazine, because we had taken out the time, and all of those people that were on the committee over that period of time had taken out the time to organize,
Exactly.
that reunion. And I felt as though we needed to be seen in the magazine as well.
Exactly. Yep.
I am just thankful that they did honor my request and make sure that everyone, like our pictures, that is the second time. The magazine that came out, when you saw the group shots and the committee, well, when you saw the committee in this magazine, previously the magazine had the big group shot that we took at Sherwood Properties.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
So, the Edinboro Alumni Association, they have extended their hand to us.
And they're doing a fantastic job. I mean, Chairman and the crew, they're doing a super, super job.
Yeah,
Let me
very
tell
organized.
you about this new crew. I love them because you know how we're old school.
Right.
we things old school.
And our listeners need to know this, what they're doing for us and all that. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, they have really stepped up the game. The committee that we had, we were more than glad to turn it over to the young people. And I'm really glad we did, because they have stepped it up, and they've not only created the website, but they, because I told them there are people who aren't on the computer.
Right.
Like others, and so they acknowledged that, and they did still send out a regular mailing text.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm thankful to them. They are doing a wonderful job, and I am here to support them.
Exactly.
It's going to be massive. It's going to be massive.
And we're here also to support them and make sure that their message gets out there to the masses and all that good stuff.
Yes.
So.
Every time I see someone, I'm either telling them about them, or handing them
here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I want to move on to my next question, and this is probably one of the most important questions here for those that are listening, and they'll be graduating soon. What advice would you pass on to Edinboro seniors about to graduate, or even just leave school prematurely?
Well, I would just encourage everyone, if you can, to stay and get your degree. That's the first thing. It's valuable nowadays in trying to become successful or self-sufficient. The other thing for the graduates that I would say is to market your skills that you've learned in undergrad. When you go out to look for a job, speak confidently about what you've learned. And also make sure that you talk about some of the volunteer work that you've done.
True, because you won't have any real job experience, so your volunteer experience, does count.
Right, exactly.
Because employers, being an employer right now and having employees, I value when someone takes initiative.
Absolutely.
When you talk about volunteer work, that shows the employer that you have initiative, some drive. So, I would say do your best to use the education that you've received at Edinboro as well as the skills that you have learned over the years to market yourself and looking for employment. If your goal is to continue on with your education, by all means, the more you get, the more you're able to use.
Absolutely.
When looking for employment. And the last thing I always say to everyone is, please, whatever you do, take the civil service exam, because it can open up a door that you never would have dreamed of. And they have jobs that range from cook or chef to engineer.
Absolutely.
Yep, exactly. That's some good advice. That's some real good advice.
And travel and see the world, that's my hobby.
Yeah. And one thing my mother told me, she said, when I graduated, never be too proud to push a broom, you know.
Absolutely. I agree with your mother on that one. You never know where your next job or your next contact.
Opportunity. Absolutely.
Exactly.
And I tell my niece this. I told her when she finished her medical assistance training, I said, if you don't find a job in medical assistance, just get you a job.
Yep.
Because the thing about it is, it's funny, but when you have a job, it's easier to get a job.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yep.
And you never know who you're going to be nice to someday.
Yep.
As you're working at McDonald's, you may, service that person very well, and they just like the way that you handle the customer.
Exactly. Exactly.
Give you a business card and say, come see me.
Exactly.
For you.
Yep, exactly. And also learn to be respectful. Like, hey, there's nothing wrong with saying yes, sir, yes, ma'am. It goes a long way. You know, people, you don't hear those words nowadays, and somebody hear that and they're like, wow, ooh.
I was just getting ready to say, we're old school. That's how we were taught.
Right.
But the young kids today, like you say, you don't hear that as much. But there's no shame in being respectful.
Right.
Absolutely.
It goes a long way.
Absolutely. And just like I tell anyone, whatever it took for you to get the job, that's what it takes for you to keep the job.
Exactly. And also the other thing is dress for success. Like say for instance, you're striving to get a certain job. Prepare yourself for that job by dressing for success towards that job.
Success is so key. I'm going to tell you that.
Yep.
Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with having fun and being pleasant.
Right. Exactly.
Employer wants to know that you're going to be a hard worker, but you're not going to be mean when you come every day.
Exactly.
They want somebody who's going to be pleasant.
Exactly.
That goes a long way.
Absolutely.
I used to teach my niece and nephew, it's nice to be nice. And that has worked for me, and I'm sticking to it.
Same here. It's a policy that's been working for me for a while. A smile goes a long way.
And I want every blessing that God has for me.
You got that right.
Absolutely. Well, Grace, we want to thank you for coming out and blessing us with your presence and coming into the studio and talking about your experiences and stuff like that. Definitely appreciate it. My co-host Karen, thank you for.
Gracie, I can't wait to see you. I mean, I have a big hug waiting for you.
Absolutely.
Can't wait to see you.
I can't wait to see you all either. I can't wait to see everyone. I told someone we have to have a camera as we go on this tour.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
Just people reminiscing about the different things.
Yes, Soko and I were talking about that.
Exactly.
That's going to be wonderful.
Absolutely.
I am loving it. I really am. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see everyone, and I appreciate you all taking the time out to interview me. It has been a real pleasure.
Well, thank you, Grace. We love you, too.
I love you, too.
Well, folks, my listening audience, it's the talk of the town, Soultalk 88.9. We'll see you next week, same time, same place.
It's the talk of the town, Soultalk Radio 88.9. Show up and show out Friday, October 4th from 4 o'clock to 4:30 p.m. as the Greeks from all generations stroll the campus of Edinboro to show solidarity and unity. So join the Alphas, the Qs, the Sigmas, the Kappas, the AKAs, the Deltas, the Zetas, the Gammas, as they proudly adorn their colors, shields, and canes. Let's show the campus what is missing. This message is sponsored by the African American Alumni Reunion Committee. Hey folks, the doors of the church are open for service Sunday, October 6th, beginning at 11 a.m. Located at 236 East 11th Street, Erie, PA. So come out and get your praise on before getting back on the road and witness the united voices of Edinboro as well as mine and the praise dancers. Dinner will be served immediately after service. This has been a message brought to you by the African American Alumni Reunion Committee. You're listening to Soultalk 88.9. I'm I'm your DJ Silky Shoes, and we call this our Spotlight segment. Last week we had Larry Price and his artists. This week we have somebody that's not as professional, more like amateur hour. I'm featuring a song that I wrote called Can You Hear Me, and my group is called Impromptu. Check it out. Pay attention. Listen up now. There is something I want to say to you, to you, to you. Life's about the choice we make, and sometimes it's give and take. The joy you find comes from within, and in this life it's the only way to win. Some friends may come, some friends may go. The real truth you may never know. So keep moving on, move towards the dawn. The light of the world is always on. Tell me, can you hear me? Are you listening? Tell me that you hear me now. Tell me, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Reminiscing about the days of old, our treasured memories we try to hold. There's so much living left to do. This is a message for me and you. So let that smile that you have on be the strength that shows you're strong. Dark clouds may come rolling in, but you have the strength within. Tell me, can you hear me? Are you listening? Tell me that you hear me now. Tell me, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Whatever's wrong within your life, I have a friend that can make it right. Weeping indoors just for the night, but joy comes in the morning light. Removing all doubts and all fears, he'll wipe away all of your tears. Just know that he is always there. He's here and there and everywhere. Tell me, are you listening?
Tell me now,
Tell me, can you hear me?
tell me again,
Tell me, are you listening?
tell me how.
Tell me, can you hear me? Tell me, can you hear me? Tell me, tell me, tell me. Tell me, tell me, tell me. Tell me, can you hear me? Tell me, are you listening? Tell me, can you hear me? Tell me, are you listening?
Tell me, tell me.
DJ Silky Shoes back with you. Thank you for indulging me for just a minute there. You know, I'll try to write something a little positive there or whatever. Anyway, this next segment we call What the Furcrons Meant to Me. Everyone has their various experiences about how the Furcrons touched their lives, so we decided to make a segment on the show where people could come and voice and witness and let you know what the Furcrons did in their lives. So here we go. Well, you know what? I meant to say testify, not witness. Testify, okay? All right.
Mr. Furcron, because he was the basketball coach, I saw him from time to time, but it was one time that he made a difference for me. Well, the Furcrons meant a great deal to me, especially Mrs. Furcron. But my interaction with Mr. Furcron, as he was, I believe, the assistant coach to the basketball team, which I'm sure he mentored a lot of young men and even saved some, from classes. But the basketball coach's daughter lived on my floor. And one time she was getting everyone to do something that we weren't supposed to do. And I believe it was the afternoon of the day we were all supposed to, do this little activity. Mr. Furcron. And all I said to him was, hey, Mr. Furcron, Kim is going. He said, hold it right there, young lady. He said, whatever they are planning on doing, you had better make sure you're not a part of it. And I looked at him and I said, yes, sir.
Like, how did he know,
And I went back to the dorm, and that night they all got together. They came to me and my roommate. And, of course, my roommate was down. So I said, oh, no, I'm not going. And they were like, come on. I was like, no, I'm okay. You guys go ahead. Well, thank God I didn't go. Because about an hour later, the police came knocking at the door.
Wow.
That's funny.
So I just was so thankful to him. And I don't even know if he remembers that, but I was so thankful to him.
Wow, man. Well, he will hear it. He will hear this.
Now, Mrs. Furcron, her and I have actually traveled together.
Oh, okay.
Wonderful.
Wow, see, we didn't know that either.
Yeah, not only was she vital in helping me in the Act 101 program, make sure I had all my credits. She made sure that, we as girls knew to be respectful of ourselves.
Right.
But also, she just had the guidance. She shared with everyone. She didn't, and she wasn't one who, she could sugarcoat it, but if she had to give it to you without, pop,
no chaser.
Yep.
That's what I really liked about her. I didn't value that until we actually went on a trip. The Act 101 program got to choose a student to go to Washington, D.C. to be in this program. And out of all the students on campus, they chose me.
Wow.
So me and Mrs. Furcron, we stayed in Georgetown. We actually did visit, I think it was one of her relatives, and then my relative came to pick me up from her relative's house. But we stayed at a hotel, and we did a lot. We went sightseeing. We ate together, and just being with her for that period of time and being at that function was really prestigious for me.
Wow.
Really meant a lot to me.
Wow.
No, I know she remembers it because we laugh about it from time to time.
Yeah.
But because we saw some sights that night.
Oh, yeah, D.C.? Oh, yeah. And we live here.
Exactly, so I can imagine.
But it was just her demeanor that really I valued.
That's special, yeah.
Wasn't afraid, Mrs. Furcron wasn't afraid to share her knowledge with you. She wasn't afraid to tell you when you were wrong.
Yep.
Correct.
That's something that I value.
Exactly.
Because it really did help me. Even though Lynn, oh man, I can't remember her last name. She was my advisor. And she was on staff there. She was African American.
Sterling? Is her last name Sterling?
Last name? Yeah, Liz Sterling.
Yeah, Liz Sterling, okay.
Was my advisor for the department of for the social work department. But Mrs. Furcron stayed with me my whole 4 years. For that my grades were right, that my money was right, and that I was okay on campus.
And I mean, you're saying a lot of what a lot of folks say about the fur crime, so I totally, agree with what you're saying.
Yes. I mean, and there was one time that I got in trouble, and they sent a letter home to my parents.
Wow.
Yeah. And when they sent that letter home to my parents, and the funny part about it was, what happened was, my roommate left a 40-ounce on the Foot Locker.
Wow.
Didn't even drink beer. When I got to Edinboro, I did not pick up one beer. The whole 4 years. That was my freshman year, and because it was my room, got written up.
Wow, man. Yeah, guilt by association, huh?
Association. But when Mrs. Fron and them, when they found out, they called me to the office. And even though they had to send a letter home to my parents, they still listened to me.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Still said, well, Grace, we believe you.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
they knew at that point, I would tell them the truth. If I, even if I didn't want to, I still did.
Yeah.
But they said, that's why you have to make sure that the company that you keep is a reflection of who you are. Very
important, and that's a great thought to end on, right there. What you just said right there, great thought to end on, and I hope that our listeners, they're listening to that and they pick it up. And I mean, well, a lot of us are alumni, so we've kind of gone through that. But for our young listeners, I hope that they pick up on what you just said right there. Can you say it one more time?
Yes, they told me that the company that you keep is a reflection of who you are.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And that's a great note to end on. Grace, we want to thank you so much for sharing, your experiences and your knowledge and just your thoughts about the fur crimes. Really appreciate that. And, fur crimes, they were just endearing to a whole bunch of folks. And it's nice to know that, wow, they've touched a lot of lives, just like you have, tie that in there.
Yeah. Thank you both. Love you.
All right.
See you at the reunion.
All right. You have a good one.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you.
All right.
Join us for lunch with the Edinboro University president Saturday, October 5th on the green space located in front of the Edinboro Center, immediately following the parade and before the homecoming Fighting Scots football game. And come meet Edinboro's first female president. This message is sponsored by the African American Alumni Reunion Committee. This is DJ Silky Shoes. Thank you for sharing this evening with me on the debut of Soul Flight 88. I want to let you know that if there's any features, any news that you want to be known, let us know at silkartpro@aol.com. And join us next week, every Wednesday, as we bring the hits of yesteryear and today to you. So until that time, you have a good one, and I'll say see you later. Fly high on Soul Flight 88.